Hello everyone and welcome to another redstone video with Cass on the Maizuma channel. A couple of months ago, I decided to revisit one of my old projects. Me and Lucas managed to make this semi-hipster door. And if you don't know the difference, a hipster door is completely seamless, so it would not show those pistons here. So let me show this in action. So this is the closing. And here's the opening. Okay, it's absolutely tiny. Compared to my last design, we managed to shave off one layer from the bottom, which is pretty hard to do, and still another layer from the side. So this is only what the logic circuit is only one wide, which is pretty great. Yeah, it does use torch burnouts here, but well, we did it for the size, so it's not fast either. Right, it works like this. With this design, the closing is a lot more complicated than the opening, and since it's so small, I think it deserves a little bit of an explanation. This is the power layout we decided to use, and most people would not use it because, well, you have to control this line up here and a double piston extender here. And the problem is to power those blocks that are budded, by the way, since they're powered here now and not extended. We need to power these droppers, but they are impossible to power because the hoppers connected to it are transparent blocks, so they will not power those. We have repeaters here. So basically, the only way I could find to power those guys was by powering those solid blocks here and budding those guys here. And then I used this pretty neat trick here with the pistons to update the droppers when those blocks are powered. So you need to send the precise length of pulse here to get these blocks to be powered after one tick and updated after 1.5 ticks. And when these unpower, they will retract immediately, not updating those guys anymore. Besides this, there's a big problem here. This entire machine is controlled by a single power line, and once we power this line, those guys here get powered first, so they would push the blocks over there and break the door before it would get a chance to extend up. So we need to do a pretty crazy trick here. What we did was, when we flip the lever, this line will be instantly powered, and 1 tick later those guys will try to extend. But two ticks later, we unpower this redstone dust, causing these budded guys to activate, so they prevent those guys from extending, because when they try to extend, those will get in the way and create block 36 here. So block 36 is unmovable, so those guys cannot push and they get blocked. And later, when those guys extend and they are already budded by the solid blocks there, they also update, and then the closing happens. So yeah, it's quite complicated despite its size. And the closing is a lot easier. We just use this burnout here because when you connect this circuit diagonal here to a repeater on 4 ticks, it will create 2 pulses. And those 2 pulses just happen to be exactly timed so that the double extender will not break. Because, as I told you, we have only one line, so when we try to power the double extender, we also power those guys. So this will try to break the double extender, but it will not succeed, because it will try to extend at a time when those guys are extended as well, and extended pistons cannot be pushed. So, long explanation, but I really think that this thing deserved it, because it was a lot of work to try and get this thing this small. And I also think that this deserves a tutorial, so let's get to that. Before we proceed with the tutorial, I should also mention that me and Lucas used this concept to do a 3-high expandable door, flush door, yeah. So let's see this in action. The opening is horrible, just horrible. It's the worst thing ever. It's just a proof of concept, just to show how tiny it can possibly be, but I would never use this for sure. It's incredibly derpy. The closing is fine, just like this, but the opening is really amazingly horrible. Oh my god. Okay, let's start with our double piston extenders. So we need blocks here, and then power those guys like so, and those blocks must be solid. So down here we have comparators and droppers. Now hold shift and place hoppers. So now we can have regular pistons here. Those cannot be sticky, otherwise they will pull those blocks, just like so. And then redstone dust over here, then repeaters on one tick, solid blocks here, and we can place sticky pistons there. Now, one thing that's very important that you're gonna need to do during the building process is to place unmovable blocks here. Okay, you can use furnaces, chests, note blocks, anything that can't move, because otherwise this door will break during the building. Okay, now for the control circuit. Our input is going to be right here, and then we will have a repeater on 2 ticks going into a slab, so it won't power those guys directly. And oops, down here we need another regular piston, and this guy is going to update a redstone torch right here. Before we continue, I forgot to mention that we need to place items here. We need those items to be ferns. Nothing else will work properly here. This will be highly unstable otherwise. And then here, one repeater on 4 ticks, solid block, and then redstone dust. So it looks like this. Okay, finally place redstone dust here, a solid block here, and then a sticky piston there, and finally a redstone block. So this is already the closing and the opening. As mentioned before, you need to wait for the torch burnout to burn out, basically. You can have a redstone lamp here to remind you of that before you can close the door again. If you don't wait enough time, long enough, I will show you what happens. By the way, you can get rid of those, they will work normally. So if you don't wait for this, what will happen is this: your door will be in this state, and what you can do is just wait the proper amount of time and then flip the lever again, and it will fix itself every time. So we can now cover this up, and yeah, it's pretty easy to expand. Just expand this part here. This line will never be repeated. You don't need redstone dust here, only on this block, and you should be fine. Before we end this video, I would like to show you an alternative way of building this thing, which is a little bit cheaper and a lot more reliable in my opinion, but it uses one extra line here. So let me quickly show you how to do that. Start off by blocking this thing off, because we are going to build again. Don't worry about those guys updating, they just need to be at the same I mean synchronized. And then our inputs now move to here, and we're gonna have our torch burnout thing going like so, and place a repeater on 4 ticks here and redstone dust here. So from here, one repeater on 2 ticks, another repeater on 2 ticks, and this piece of redstone dust here will update those guys. So yeah, it should be it. Okay, it works. So now we can get rid of this, and we also don't need this line anymore. So it's more compact in this dimension, I guess, but it uses another dimension here, and it's more stable because when you close it, you will see that you don't have to wait for the torch burnout anymore. And we use a little trick here that if this is pulsing quickly, this will not turn off, so this will not send extra updates there. So I like this design more, although it's bigger than the previous one I showed you before. So yeah guys, this is all I have to show you guys today. Thank you very much for watching again, and see you next time. Bye bye.